Sam Wilkes Radio, the home of the best content that you are ever gonna see. It is 6 o'clock now. Time for the Sam Wilkes segment to begin. Hey everyone, yes, it's my first ever podcast. And the first ever day that I've ever actually gone on to an early segment on Sam Wilkes Radio. So how about that, guys? You were just listening to some karaoke overnight. That last one was called You're Still the One by Shania Twain. Now that I'm up and active and ready to go, let's see what's on the news this morning, because I've been asleep. I only just got up about half an hour ago because I had to drive to the station. So, there's been a lot of stuff that have been going on in the news today. Let's have a look at what today's news is going to be for Australia, obviously. Oh yeah, just in the news, 3 days ago, there was actually a motorcycle crash. One dead, another injured in Bruce Highway motorcycle crash. There was a fatal motorcycle crash that happened near Brisbane on the Bruce Highway. Bruce Highway was reopened at Ilimba after a horror crash that actually injured a motorcycle rider and killed a man on Sunday. This was on 9 News, and police said that the preliminary investigation suggested that 5 motorcyclists were travelling together in a group, making their way towards Brisbane from the Childers area. It appears as they approached the bridge over Beerbroom Creek that one of the motorcycles actually veered right for absolutely no reason at all, hitting a guardrail, and the second motorcycle collided with the first, knocking the rider right off its motorcycle. Now that's pretty weird, because I've actually not seen too much news about it. Third motorcyclist then collided with that rider as well. So the man who was killed was a 43-year-old from Collingwood Park. Wow, a lot of people in their 40s are actually dying. A 47-year-old Browns Plains man, Browns Plains is the neighbouring suburb of Kingston, the rider of another motorcycle was transported to Caboolture Hospital. The southbound lanes on the highway were closed for several hours, and traffic was to be directed to Steve Irwin Way. The forensic crash unit is investigating. A motorcyclist has died, another has been injured. Okay, so a group of motorbike riders are travelling along the Bruce Highway when one of them hit a barrier at the Limba about 11:28 in the morning. One of the 2 riders were thrown from the bike onto the highway, onto the path of oncoming traffic, is what the police said, and the rider died at the scene. The other rider was transported to Caboolture Hospital in a stable condition. Southbound lanes are expected to remain closed for an extended period, with traffic diverted to Steve Irwin Way. I probably think that they probably would have opened up the lanes by now, but that's like a motorcycle crash. We get a lot of crashes with vehicles happening along the Bruce Highway, particularly in Bruce Highway across Queensland. So, and in case of that death isn't enough, there's a man that dies beside Gold Coast Highway at Broadbeach. The Queensland Police had just launched an Ethical Standards Command investigation into the death of a man during arrest on the Gold Coast. The man was arrested at 11 in the morning in Victoria Park, Broadbeach. The initial information suggests that the man was having trouble breathing after being placed in a rear of a police van. Police removed the man from the van and immediately commenced CPR while waiting the attendance of an ambulance. Unfortunately, though, the attempts of CPR by police and ambulance officers were unsuccessful. So the Crime and Corruption Commission will oversee the investigation. So a man in police custody has died beside a major Gold Coast road after suffering head injuries. Reports said that he's been arrested for exposing himself. Paramedics rushed to treat him, believed to be in his late 30s or early 40s, on the side of the Gold Coast Highway at Broadbeach just before 10 in the morning, and they were unable to revive him. A nearby hotel employee said they saw the police that were trying to put the man who was reportedly homeless in the back of a van. Now, guys, you don't want to be homeless, believe me, because if you're homeless, they will take you away. Police were leading him to the van. He struggled a bit, but as they put him inside, he looked like he was having a seizure. So what they did is they pulled him out and started performing CPR until the paramedics arrived and took over, but there was nothing that anyone could do. He was dead. He's been hanging around Victoria Park for a day or so. The police were notified. The ABC reported the man had been arrested for exposing himself. Police set up 2 crime scenes, but yet to comment on the incident. So obviously the man just dies alongside a Gold Coast highway. So that's a lot of news. Pretty bad too, because all of this stuff that's happening. And this was yesterday, by the way. The man that died at 10 a.m. That was yesterday's announcement. What the? Commonwealth Games stole my koala. Einstein says he's been left sick to the stomach. Mick claims the Commonwealth Games stole his design. Yeah, that's a bit ridiculous, I happen to think. I was not expecting that at all. Oh my gosh, I just found this one right here. This was 5 days ago. There was a woman that was stabbed to death in graphic scene. A woman in her 20s has been killed in what emergency workers describe as a very graphic stabbing north of Brisbane. Police were called to a Gippering address about 10:30 last night after reports of a disturbance. On arrival, officers discovered a woman in the driveway with what happened to be stab wounds. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Oh my gosh, and I can actually see the police tape that stuck the police tape between the right-hand side edge of the house to the mailbox, and also surrounding the house between the mailbox over to goodness knows a tree. Anyway, as I said, paramedics were called to the scene, with one telling the Nine Network it was a very graphic scene. A man, aged 35, was taken into custody at the scene and taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, and is charged with murder and have a bedside hearing in hospital. Don't try and stab anyone, because the police will take you away. We don't... Oh, okay, we found another headline here. Apparently, this was on the 29th of March. It says that man was charged with attempted murder after allegedly dousing woman with petrol. Oh no, this is not good at all. A man has been charged with attempted murder after allegedly dousing a woman with petrol during a domestic dispute in the southern part of Brisbane. Police were called to a Parkinson address around 8 o'clock on Monday, where the incident had occurred, and arrested the man outside the house. The 51-year-old woman was transported to hospital, but has since been released. The 55-year-old man, who police confirmed is known to the woman, has been hit with a slew of charges. One of them faces 1 count each of attempted murder, acts intended to cause grievous bodily harm, attempted arson, common assault, contravention of a domestic violence order, and willful damage. And there could be more into that list as well. He's due to appear in Rigid Magistrates Court on the 29th of March, so I don't know what's happened to him. I probably think that he has been charged with all of that. He might be in jail too, but we don't know, because we have no idea. Man charged over death of housemate. Oh no, there were a lot of deaths happening in March and April this year. Police have charged a Brisbane man with manslaughter. A man has been charged with manslaughter over the death of his housemate in East Brisbane overnight. Police were called to the home on Herbert Street just before midnight, when they allegedly found a 30-year-old man unconscious at the back of the house. The 2 men who lived together at the home had allegedly been involved with a fight. They had escalated. The 28-year-old alleged offender tried to revive his housemate before emergency services arrived. It was just ridiculous, really. He was declared deceased on scene. Residents described how the housemate fell to his knees and cradled his head in front of the property when police were exiting the house. The 28-year-old was arrested and was treated for minor injuries allegedly sustained during the altercation. He was charged with 1 count of manslaughter. He's due to appear he's already gone to the magistrate's court that next day. 2 men who were understood to have been living together were involved in an altercation on Herbert Street, Murari, shortly before midnight. One of the men sustained serious injuries from the fight and was allegedly knocked to the ground. The other man They're believed to have performed CPR but had no hope whatsoever. Crime scene had been set up and detectives are investigating the incident. There will be more to come. So obviously, what they've actually been going on to with all of this, it's pretty weird. So this is something that we weren't really expecting to happen to this extent, because I don't think there would be anyone that would be that silly to even go ahead and murder anyone. You don't see me running around in the streets murdering people, because I don't decide to murder people. That's the whole point. I don't murder anyone. Is there any news going on around the world now? But yeah, guys, seriously, if you have any news for me, you know, you can always go over to me, and you can call me up on the Sam Wilkes Radio, or otherwise known as the Brisbane Kid International Filming Studios. You can ring me up on 04847 88080. So once again, that is 04847 88080. So then that way you can submit your bulletin to us and we'll feature it in our next available slot time. So there we go. But yeah, there's been a lot of news reports. Oh my gosh, here we go. Here's something really bad for Brisbane. Monopoly rolls the dice in Brisbane. So this was published just yesterday. One of the world's most loved board games now plans to release a version with a little local flavour. Now this will be good. Mr. Monopoly met Brisbane Lord Mayor Graham Quirk today, tasking him to ask locals which landmarks, locales, streets and parks should be included in Monopoly Brisbane Edition. Mr. Quirk laid his cards on the table. From today until July 31, Brisbane Monopoly fans are invited to nominate Brisbane properties to be included on the new board via the Brisbane Monopoly Facebook page. The most popular two places will be assigned to the dark blue Mayfair and Parkland positions, the two most expensive properties on the board, and the Monopoly Brisbane Edition will hit the shelves in late October 2016. So that means that in October I got to go get that board game so they can see what sort of things that they've rolled in for Brisbane streets, because I'm actually in one of the southern Brisbane suburbs. I'm actually in the Logan City region. The Brisbane International Filming Studios is in the Logan region. There's been a lot of stuff that's been going on, not just news, but also other things too. A lot of stuff has been going on lately with, well, everything. Woodbridge State High School's about to reach bankruptcy. I just found 3 temporary teacher aides have left that school. One of them is now near the Bean Lee as a teacher aide there, probably because that school's got more money and it's much closer. 2 teacher aides, one of them was Andrew, another one was Paula, because the schools are bankrupt. Pardon me. Seeing as Woodbridge State High School is about to hit bankruptcy, that meant that they had to quit their temporary positions as teacher aide, even though they were there last year. And I know because I was actually there. So yeah, so Woodbridge is probably in very awful things right now. So yes, let's go and see some breaking news here. I'll just find out which one they had. Oh yes, here we go. Government still missing answers on bikies. Ooh, on bikies laws. This is a good one. On the sale of one of its most important legislative changes to date, the Palaskuk government, I can't even say the name right, is facing a lot of questions it's yet to find answers for. Having committed to scrapping the bulk of the Newman government's bikie laws, replacing them with laws of their own, Premier Anastasia and Attorney General Yvette Darth have set out to sell their message of why it's necessary, using the task force report they ordered to investigate the